Deep in an ancient forest, a young owl listens wide-eyed as his father tells stories of warriors who soar through storms, battle evil, and sacrifice everything to protect their own. Most owlets would drift off to sleep, but this one believes. He believes so completely, so stubbornly, so dangerously, that those very stories are about to drag him out of his nest and hurl him toward destiny itself. Let's dive into one of the most visually stunning and emotionally gripping animated films of the 2000s. A tale of brotherhood, betrayal, and what it truly means to be a hero. This is the full story of these guardians. Our story begins in the Taito Forest, a lush, moonlit woodland where a young barn owl named Soren lives with his family. His father, Noctis, is wise and warm, a storyteller at heart. Every night, he fills Soren's imagination with legends of the guardians of Gahul, a legendary order of warrior owls who once saved all of owlkind from a terrifying enemy known as the Pure Ones. Their greatest battle saw the heroic Lies of Keel face off against the Pure Ones' fearsome masked warlord, Metalbeak. Soren hangs on every word. For him, these aren't fairy tales. They're a blueprint for who he wants to become. His older brother, Clud, doesn't share his enthusiasm.
Soren, it's just a story.
It is not.
I mean, duh. Have you ever seen a guardian?
Clud is harder, more competitive, and grows increasingly bitter watching Soren receive their father's attention and admiration. While Soren dreams of heroism, Clud dreams of dominance. It's a tension that simmers just beneath the surface of a loving family, and it won't stay quiet for long. Rounding out the family are their gentle mother, Morella, their curious little sister, Eglantine, and their devoted nest maid, Mrs. P. It's an idyllic life, fragile and beautiful, the kind that exists only right before everything falls apart. Then comes the moment that changes everything. While practicing branching, the dangerous art of learning to fly from the edge of the nest, Clud's jealousy boils over. In a split second of rage, he shoves Soren off the branch. Losing his own balance, Clud tumbles too, and both owlets crash to the forest floor far below. The ground is terrifying for young owls who can't yet fly, dark, unfamiliar, and filled with predators. Almost immediately, a snarling Tasmanian devil closes in on them. But before it can strike, the brothers are snatched away, not saved, but captured, by a pair of cold-eyed, long-eared owls named Jat and Jut. They don't ask where the owlets want to go. They just carry them away into the dark. The brothers are delivered to Saint Aegolius, a bleak, cavernous stronghold carved into stone ruled by the Pure Ones. It's nothing like the stories Soren's father told. There's no nobility here, no honor, just power dressed up in ideology. The Pure Ones believe that Taito owls, barn owls, and their kin are superior to all others and thus have the divine right to enslave and rule. Their second in command, Nira, is elegant, chilling, and utterly convincing in her cruelty. She greets the crowd of kidnapped owlets as if they should feel privileged to serve. When Soren looks at his brother for solidarity, Clud looks away. The betrayal is quiet but devastating. Here, Soren meets Gylfi, a tiny elf owl with a sharp mind and an even sharper instinct for survival. The two quickly form an alliance.
Hey, what's wrong with him?
It looks like he's being moved.
Gylfi warns Soren about moon blinking,
I think they're trying to moon blink us. We mustn't fall asleep.
a terrifying process in which owlets are forced to sleep under the full moon until they lose their sense of self entirely, becoming mindless drones loyal only to the Pure Ones. Soren and Gylfi fight sleep with everything they have, pinching each other, talking, doing anything to stay awake. It works. They remain free inside their own minds, even as those around them slowly hollow out. Meanwhile, Clud makes a different choice. Rather than resisting, he leans in, embracing the Pure One's philosophy with unsettling ease. When Nira recognizes his strength and ferocity, she recruits him as a soldier. Not everyone within St. Aegolius is what they seem. Grimble, a boreal owl working as a captor, reveals a hidden truth to Soren and Gylfi. He is not a true believer.
I'm gonna teach you to fly. Yeah, it's been getting worse here. I told myself if any came who was smart and brave enough to resist, I'd help them. I guess you two will have to do.
His family was taken hostage years ago, and he has been serving the Pure Ones under duress ever since. He smuggles the two owlets into his hidden library, a quiet, forbidden room that feels like breathing again, and begins teaching them the one thing that could set them free: how to fly. Their lessons are hurried and desperate, nothing like the graceful instruction Soren once dreamed of. But they learn. Bit by bit, wing beat by wing beat, they learn. Then the Pure Ones find out. Nira descends with soldiers, and the confrontation is brutal. Grimble knows he can't win, but he doesn't have to win. He just has to hold them long enough, buying Soren and Gylfi the seconds they need to escape into the open sky. His fate is sealed, but their journey has begun. The open sky is enormous and terrifying, but also electric with possibility. Soren and Gylfi are soon joined by others.
Name's Digger.
Digger, a burrowing owl with a philosophical streak and unexpected bravery. Twilight, a great gray owl who is equal parts warrior and traveling bard. And Mrs. P, Soren's beloved snake nest maid who has been searching for him since he vanished. Together, this unlikely band of misfits sets course for the Sea of Hoolemere, and beyond it, the Great Tree, home of the Guardians of Gahul. The road is not easy. Crows ambush them mid-flight in a brutal, chaotic battle. The group barely holds together, but the skirmish carries them to the shore and to an unexpected meeting, a mystical echidna who provides them with the bearings they need to reach the Great Tree. Then comes the hardest part, a raging oceanic hurricane, walls of wind and water, the kind of storm that breaks things. Digger is torn away and falling when a massive, armored, snowy owl drops from the clouds and catches him, a guardian. Real, breathing. Here. The legend just reached out its wing and pulled them from the sea. The Great Tree of Gahul is breathtaking. A colossal living fortress rising from a rocky island, glowing with lantern light, filled with owls of every kind going about the ancient work of warrior scholars. Boren and Byron, the king and queen, are regal and measured. They hear Soren's account of the Pure Ones, the Flex, and the threat gathering at St. Aegolius. Most of the council is skeptical. One general, Alameir, openly questions the story.
Boron, Your Majesty, if I understand this correctly, Metalbeak is not a myth. He's building a slave army of moon-blinked owlets and is planning to conquer the world with magical pellet debris. Such a story simply stretches plausibility too far.
But Ezelrib, a scarred, gruff, whiskered screech owl with the manner of someone who has seen too much war to pretend otherwise, defends the young owlet. Soren and his friends begin training, but it's Ezelrib's lesson that cuts deepest. He flies them straight into a violent storm, teaching them not to fight the wind, but to become part of it. For a brief, transcendent moment, Soren stops thinking and simply flies. Then doubt creeps in, and he falters. Later, in Ezelrib's hollow, a stunning truth is revealed. The old, battered owl is Lies of Keel, the greatest guardian of all, the hero from every one of Soren's father's stories. And the stories? Far messier, far more painful than they ever sounded. A scouting party is sent to St. Aegolius, led by Alameir. He returns alone. His scouts, dead, he says, barely escaped. But he brings back 2 moon-blinked owlets. One is Eglantine, Soren's little sister, vacant-eyed and silent, taken by Clud. The Guardians mobilize for war. Soren stays behind with Eglantine. When she wakes, the truth spills out. Clud gave her to Alameir willingly. Alameir is the traitor, the unknown owl from Metalbeak's bargain. The Guardians are flying straight into a trap. Soren and his band race to warn them. They arrive too late to warn, but just in time to matter. The Pure Ones have triggered the Flex, draining the Guardian's strength and pinning them helplessly to the ground. Bats swarm in for the kill. Soren doesn't hesitate. He sends his friends to hold back the bats and plunges into a wall of fire, emerging with a burning oil lamp blazing like a comet. He dives into the Flex magnetic field and releases the lamp onto the mechanism holding the Flex open. The machine burns. The lids slam shut. The Guardians are free. Metalbeak orders a full assault. Soren faces Clud in the burning forest. One last chance for Clud to step back from the edge. He doesn't take it. In a devastating turn, Clud falls into the flames. Shattered, Soren channels his grief into fury and flies to help Ezelrib against Metalbeak. Outmatched and cornered, Soren raises a burning branch, and Metal Beak, lunging for the kill, impales himself. It's over. Nyra retreats. The Pure Ones scatter, the Pure. The survivors return to the Great Tree. Soren is reunited with Eglantine and his parents. He and his friends, Gylfi, Twilight, Digger, are formally made guardians of Gahul. The young owl who once listened to stories has now become one. But peace, as Soren himself tells us, is never quite complete. Clud's body was never found. Nyra is still out there. And in the shadows of the closing scene, we see Clud, alive, eyes burning red, staring down at Metal Beak's fallen mask. The legend continues. This film is a love letter to the idea that stories matter, that the tales we're told as children shape not just who we become, but what we're willing to fight for. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a comment below with your favorite moment from the film, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for watching.